Joining me now to talk about that and much more, Republican Wyoming Senator and orthopedic surgeon himself, like Dr. Price, John Barrasso. Senator, good to see you today.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so you know what the claims are by Democrats. Members of the Trump transition team are demanding a retraction on that story. They point out that these trades were made by someone other than the congressman and they were done without his prior knowledge. But you know they're going to hammer this pretty hard. How do you think it goes for Dr. Price?
Well, he's the right person to be the Secretary of Health and Human Service. I've worked with him for a number of years. He's the right person in terms of the whole Obamacare repeal and replacement and returning the power to the states. I think he's going to do very well, and I agree with what he has been said of that. That is one of the contentious hearings today. The other, of course, is Scott Pruitt for the EPA director, which I'll be chairing in the Environment and Public Works Committee.
Yes. And by the way, your fellow colleague on that committee, the ranking member, Democrat Senator Tom Carper, had this to say about Scott Pruitt. Scott Pruitt's views are so far out of the mainstream that confirming him as the head of the EPA would be a mistake. It's no secret that as Oklahoma's Attorney General, he sued the EPA 14 times, maybe more. That's what we've calculated. So you can understand how Democrats are going to say, this is a guy who tried to take on that agency at every turn. Why would he now want to run it in a responsible manner?
Well, I'll tell you, Scott Pruitt is the right choice for this position. He is someone who is Attorney General in Oklahoma, has protected the environment, he has strengthened the economy, and he has stood up for states' rights. The EPA under President Obama has actually gone rogue. They've gone way against the initial job description of the EPA, which is to protect human health and the environment by following the laws of Congress. This EPA needs wholesale changes to get back in line. They have been ignoring the law. They actually were found guilty of covert propaganda. We need to make sure that we have clean air, clean water and land, and do it in ways that don't hurt the economy. But the Obama regulations have been punishing for hardworking families, people living paycheck to paycheck. They have hurt the economy. We can have both a healthy environment as well as a strong and healthy economy.
Well, something Democrats seem very preoccupied with in a lot of these hearings that seem to have nothing to do with science or environment is this issue of climate change. We've seen it come up in education hearings and, all kinds of different places. So there's no doubt there is going to be a lot of conversation about that when the Attorney General is up and being vetted by your committee for this. He has said that he doesn't think climate science is settled. He's got a lot of questions. You know that Democrats are going to take that and run with it.
Well, I expect that they will spend a lot of time on that. They even did during the hearing of the CIA director. It's where they went on with regard to the Secretary of State. They're going on this, failing to realize what Obama policies have hurt our economy in so many ways. If you follow the environmentalist extremist position when it comes to energy economics, we're going to be left in the cold, dark, and hungry. You need to use basically free market energy economy. That's the kind of thing that we do to get a strong and healthy economy. You can talk about climate change. You can talk about the future. All of those things are important. Is the climate changing? Yes. How much man has actually contributed to that is still significantly under debate. I want to make sure that we have a strong and healthy economy as well as a clean environment. Scott Pruitt is the right person to get that job done.
And Senator, I want to quickly ask you about Governor Haley as well. She's going to be under the microscope. And I want to play a little bit of what Senator Chris Coons had to say about whether he thinks she's qualified or not, and then get your reaction.
It is a huge portfolio. To be ambassador to the UN means literally to have to understand the interests and priorities and concerns of more than 190 nations. I understand that she would have a steep learning curve, but I think the UN is a place where we can't afford to have an ambassador who's learning on the job.
Quickly, Senator, we're almost out of time, but is she qualified?
She's absolutely qualified. He talks about issues and concerns. I'm focused about the issues, concerns, and the values of the American people. She's the right person to do that. Every time Barack Obama went to the United Nations, it was either for Iran, against Israel, or against American energy. Nikki Haley is the right person for this job.
All right, Senator Barrasso, thank you.
30 minutes away.